Well, hello there. This is Shane with Shane's Reviews, and I hope you are having a great day today. Things are a little different, and I just felt like something a little different. So today we're going to be talking about Scorpion's Tale, which was wrote by Douglas Preston and, of course, Lincoln Child. The narrations was by Cynthia Farrell. Got it. Nice. Not nice. But let's get into it, shall we? Anybody that's watched the channel for a long time is going to know that I like some Douglas Preston and some Lincoln Child, but I might be falling slightly out of love with them, if that makes perfect sense. The reason why I say that is it has to do with Pendergast. It has to do with that altogether. The books that had been coming out, they kind of have gotten to the point where I feel like it's stagnated a little bit, but I keep holding the faith that there's going to be a big thing that happens. Now, why am I bringing that up whenever I'm talking about a book that's not Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child and Aloysius Pender? Why am I bringing that up whenever I'm talking about the Scorpion's Tale, which isn't necessarily about AXL Pendergast, but instead Nora Kelly and Corey? Well, there's a good reason. So I know that there's a publication that's a web-based publication, but there's a thing I hate doing to get something. And I'm sure that most of you are probably in the same boat as I am on this, being that I absolutely hate giving out my information for yet another silly newsletter that the only thing I really want is this. And that's the reason why I haven't read the short stories that have come out on Pendergast over the last, I think it's 3 or 4 months. There's been these little publications they've been doing, and you got to sign up for this, that, or the other. And I don't charge me for it, man. Stop trying to get my information. It's not that I really care, because let's face it, if you touch online, your information's out there. Everything's forever. There is no forgetting. But on the same token, if I had to do that for every little thing, I'd have nothing. I really wouldn't. And the reason for that is because I don't like that. If it comes down to a trust issue with me, what are you going to do with my stuff? I always think about that. Now, granted, yes, for business, I do have Facebook. No, I'm not a hypocrite. Yes, I do use it. I just don't like it. I don't like being on it. That's why, is because you'd be surprised how much information people can dig up on you if you don't cover your tracks right. And this leads us into today's sponsor. No, I'm kidding. I don't have a sponsor. But, I mean, seriously, if you are online, think about it. Get yourself a good VPN and use it. It'll do you some good. But anyway, that's why I've skipped over that. That's why I've been really hoping that they get off the fence posts whenever it comes to Pendergast and either put the good man to rest, because he's served us very well, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe these publications are awesome and I need to give them my stuff. If so, tell me in the comment section, and if it's worth the squeeze, I'll get it, but I really don't want to. Yeah. So let's talk about the narrations. The narrations were good, crisp, clean, and clear. There really wasn't any major issues that I had listening to the book. There wasn't anything overly distracting about the way that the person narrated. There were some subtleties to the characters that I think that as this person narrates more, they're going to develop more of that, or it was there and I'm just now picking up on it. So, good job. Kudos. Seriously. It was enjoyable. Is this book going to be worth your time, efforts, and energies? It depends. You see, I'm kind of half and half on this. If you haven't read Pendergast, the first one that Corey and Nora were in, that was really good. That's worth your money, for sure. I was really took aback by that. I was not expecting it to be near as provoking inside of myself as it actually was, which was cool. On this one, it's almost like that 3-book stride that those two take. So the first one, explosive, get your attention, awesome, there's all kinds of things. The second one, it's still exciting, but it's almost like the substance that made the first one so, just wasn't kind of there. And then the third one is either leading into another 3-part series or a terrific roundup of the first 2 books and then ending a storyline. This is a method that they have. It's almost like a it's almost like a ticking clock. Those sorts of things, I think, are devices that they use in order to keep it interesting for themselves and or to maximize profit. Who knows? I'm not that person. But anyway, this one, it kind of fits in that middle ground. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong. Honestly, there wasn't. It was a good read. It was a solid story. There was plenty of their touch whenever it comes to figuring out X, Y, Z, what this was related to, why this was happening. All these things were good. Not really a but incoming. However, outlook, the same am I good enough imposter syndrome type of a situation with Corey, and Nora kind of overreaching, trying to succeed, is probably the best at what she does, but doesn't catch a break. I understand, but if we leave politics out of things here, I understand that things are not stacked equally whenever it comes to ability versus physical appearance. I get that. Probably better than anybody else, because who's going to take the fat, jolly tack that likes to use dry humor as a method to break ice? Who's going to take that serious over an individual that is fit, trim, has the same amount of confidence, maybe a little bit less on what they can do? But I get where there is inequality whenever it comes to those sorts of things, because I've seen it happen. I've been there. I've watched people get passed over. One of the reasons why I started my own company, because I value what a person does. And I got sick and tired of seeing that not being represented. So yeah, there is that. But it could be that, and it could be that she has issues that she needs to work through whenever it comes to stuff like that, that being Nora Kelly. Corey, on the other hand, is still struggling as a young FBI agent, and the two of them do get together because they end up being slammed together yet again by the fated hand that is known as Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. And I find it interesting that, you know, these two people that are so completely different have different dynamics. One is more of a very much straight, in-your-face type of an individual that's very crisp, clean cut, and to the point, whereas the other one wants to be that but isn't. There's too much internal struggle. There's too much internal dialogue there. So it's kind of cool to see them play off of each other. It was well-rounded, it was well-wrote, it was enjoyable, and the story was actually very entertaining. And so, yeah, I liked it. It was fairly decent, good read. Would I pick this one up first? No. But here's the thing that I like most about Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child on the way they write inside of the universes that they create. It's not such a linear type of a field. Usually you have a universe is created, and then when there's side stories that are made around said universe, what happens is without this makes no sense, or it doesn't seem as plausible, or you don't have the emotional attachment, so that event doesn't matter. But the key to the way that they do what they do is they write standalone stories that plug into those universes. So Nora Kelly and Corey Swanson, their stories are independent from what's happening with AXL Pendergast per se, but they do have points where they show up inside of the other books, and so it has a enrichment. It's the same thing throughout the entire series with Pendergast. There's all these side stories that you can go down, and you don't really have to know one to appreciate the other, which is wonderful. It absolutely is. So, you know, not necessarily fanboy, but I appreciate the work. Well done, people. Well done. What about the fills? Did this book bring anything out of me? Sadly enough, no. I did have a little bit of intrepidation. I did have a little bit of, let's kind of get to the point at particular points in the book, but there was also this undercurrent of yuck. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but that book just felt like it felt almost the way that I would imagine warm Jell-O that is just slightly liquefied and slimy. Remember cafeteria days at school, that kind of a thing? Yeah, kind of like that, trying to get that to go down. I don't know why though. I think it had to do with the subject matter, which if that's the case, that's a mark of an excellent authoring session by two individuals, because it's not every day I get that. Usually I get that feeling with people like Chuck Palahniuk, etc., because they're very raw, gritty, and in your face to prove a point that you probably won't catch for a month or two unless you actually already know what it's about. Which, in that case, it kind of ruins the point of the self-discovery that the man tries to put into his literature to get you to think about who you are and where you're at. But enough said about him. If you've read the other Nora and Corey book, this one will be for you. If you've never read AXL Pendergast, you don't know who these other characters I'm talking about are, skip it, don't read it. You will probably enjoy it, but take my advice, throw it out the side. Don't even listen, it doesn't matter. Just do what you want to do. I'll support it, as long as you don't hurt anybody, right? But anyway, so, long of it all, question of the day. You find yourself as a elected official of a place at a time, and it is now your job to keep things safe. But you keep getting thrown into these odd situations where there's all kinds of odd death, not necessarily death that would merit the regular police being involved in, so it falls to you. And it looks like you can either wrap the case up, or you can almost risk and lose everything to find out what happened. What choice do you make? I'm kind of curious to see what people will have to say about that. So I'd really like to know. Make sure that down there in the comment section that you do your thing, and we'll check that out. Speaking of which, I don't know if editors have got this done yet. Have you? What about you? Well, there's a video coming out. That's all I'll say. Has to do with something like comments. But yeah, anyway. If you made it this far, thank you so much. You are my hero. I mean, I don't know which one of these over here that you would check out, but if you check one of those out, then I will see you in the next one. And since you are my hero and you made it this far, bring it in. Come on, bring it in. Come on, let's get a hug.